Well, hello there. This is Frenchie, and we are geeking out today about gym. Now, I do a bit of gym. I still have a belly. It's been a while. I need some help right here. To talk about gym with me, it's my man, Mr. Josh. How you doing, bro? Thank you, Denzel. I appreciate it.
What's going on, guys? How you doing, Frenchie?
I'm doing good. I feel a bit flabby these days, so I need a bit of gym tips, my man. We're geeking out about gym, and people will be like, how do you geek out about gym? You geek out about anything, right? If
Right.
there's passion, if there's nuances to one subject, you can geek out about it. And I know you love working out. You love to build your solid body into the Greek god it's supposed to be.
Gains every day. We must work.
But okay, so let's start out. At what time did you start really appreciating physical work and gym and building your body? When did it start and how did it start? Well,
I started way back.
that's a good start to the podcast. Thank you.
You got to get your rest in. You got to get your sleep, man. I started. Whew, I was gonna. I mean, I could say like middle, like start of high school. Start of high school, like I would hit the gym here and there. Primarily, all of my workouts were just playing football, wrestling, constantly moving and running around. Even when we went to go work out, I stayed on the cardio machines. I didn't really. I mean, I would lift, but I didn't lift like that. Then when I got to college, that's when I started lifting a bit more seriously. But then I was inconsistent at times, and there's the notion that once you've been an athlete for a while, you get back and go to the gym. It's that muscle memory thing, so to get back in. And in my head at that time, I didn't really fully grasp or understand the concept of everything being a process. So I'm just thinking I'm gonna go in, I'm coming out, I'm back to where I was before. It doesn't work like that. You got to keep constantly going at it. So recently this year, I told myself that for the past several years, I was saying that I want to at least, get to a point where I can look like Hugh Jackman in Wolverine, right? So past several months, I've been working. I've lost, man, 30 pounds. Last year, I was at my heaviest. I was at 250. And that was right around my grandmother's funeral. It was the heaviest I'd ever been. And usually in high school, I stayed between like 175 and 200. It just varied on different years. But I would always feel pretty good. I wasn't feeling sluggish, wasn't feeling off or anything. Like I felt good. Going off to school, when they say what they say about the freshman 15 or freshman, I got the freshman 25. So I was eating quite a bit more. Food was readily available. Ate as much as I felt like. And I wasn't taking my care of myself the best way that I knew I should have. So met with a personal trainer this year. He goes to my church, and we was talking about intermittent fasting. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. Intermittent fasting is just not eating for a certain period of time, and then that period where you get to actually eat, try to get some calories in, nothing crazy. Obviously monitoring what you're eating that'll benefit you, and as far as weight loss goes and overall wellness goes. And I like it. I like it a lot, and I've been doing it every day ever since. The first 3 days were the most difficult, I must say, because I had to get used to not eating as much. But I feel much better at the fact that I don't have to go through a whole meal and just, I feel like I'll eat my food much slower. I'll take my time with it, because if you eat fast, it messes up your digestion and so many things. My dad was telling me that for a long time, which is also why I think I gained the weight that I did, because I wasn't really properly. I would just inhale everything. I wasn't digesting right. So Yeah, man, it's been a good ride though for sure.
And for intermittent fasting, like I do it from time to time, but the first time I've ever did it, I miscalculated the stuff and I did an actual what one of my friend calls a monk fasting with dry. So I would out of not eat for 18 hours
Mm,
and not drink anything for 18 hours. Ooh, that was the first time was rough.
yeah.
It was rough, but I actually got used to it. Now, when I do fasting maybe once a month, and that's what I do. I do 18 hours of a good like chicken, carrots, and stuff like that. Something I
Hmm.
can sustain with fiber and protein that is not fatty or fried. Then I do my 18 hours of not eating with barely any, like maybe a cup of water every 4 or 5 hours. Not even a cup, like this much, right? Just to keep
Hmm.
my body going but really take out all the toxins. And it's hard at first, but it's worth it because you feel so energized the day after when you eat. It's like your brain goes into reward mode.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because see, for me, when my trainer had me do, he would have me in the morning at least have like a protein drink. That way, it's my meal supplement. I'm just getting my protein, and that can absorb into my system, absorb into my muscles. And then later on, I still stay hydrated, but I won't actually eat anything for. I'd usually mine is usually like 15 to 16 hours. So um, when I finally get a chance to eat something, it's usually later in the day, and I try to not eat it so close to when I go to the gym. I eat at a certain period of time where I know I can get it in. By the time I get to the gym, it's already kind of been digested and absorbed, and I don't feel like this extra weight when I go in and I just start lifting or getting on the cardio, doing some cardio or what have you. But like I keep my meals small. I eat a lot of chicken. I don't eat as much red meat. I wasn't really like a big red meat eater anyway. Though I do love red meat, but I don't have it around a lot. So it's either chicken, turkey, fish, usually. Make sure you got to prioritize your vegetables too, by the way. And whenever you eat, actually, from what I understand, it's good to have a glass of water before. What you usually do at a restaurant, right? They give you your drinks first. So I would get a glass of water, probably have 2 glasses of water. Just drink that. That way, by the time it's time to eat, stomach's already kind of slightly full from the water. The water has no calories, but it's also flushing you out. So it's already taking up that space. That way, you don't have to eat as much. Then what? You got leftovers. Take it home, and you can space out your meals that way too. So that'll be me usually. But
And
yeah,
same
or coffee. Coffee helps too.
But you see, I was gonna about to say, like, it's beforehand. I used to drink a lot of coffee. I would wake up, get a coffee, right? Now my routine is I like coffee, but I'm drinking a lot less because coffee has effects on me at the end of the day. I will
Hmm.
start my day with at least 2 glasses of water to
There you go.
oxygenize your brain. That's what it needs to fully wake up, to
Hmm.
fully be consistent. Yeah, coffee is gonna boost you up, but it's also gonna bring a crash eventually.
Yeah.
Like the more you wait to how you have your coffee, the more your brain can generate what needs to wake up by itself and not get replaced by the caffeine molecules to do it for you. So you're naturally starting it up. The coffee at the end, like a bit later on, will just support it and not jumpstart what you need to get waken up. So that's what water does. It just naturally helps you that natural jumpstart and just makes you a lot more focused. So I barely drink coffee now. I used to at least have 3, 4 cups a day. If I have
Hmm.
a cup of coffee maybe every 2, 3 days, it's good.
Yeah. See, for me, it's usually like I won't even say every other day because I'll just jump straight to my water, or I'll what I'll drink my water first, then I have a super greens mix. So I'll take my super greens powder and I'll mix it up, drink that. And then I'll probably have actually, no, I won't have my protein shake until later on in the day, until after I work out. So I have my super greens in the morning with my water. And if I do have a cup of coffee, usually it's a hot cup of coffee. Um, Black coffee. I've actually, the thing is, when I've been losing weight, I've cut out my sugar so much. And I wasn't really like a heavy sugar eater, but I would definitely drink a lot of sweet tea. Loved it
Mm.
a lot. Like for me, what caused me to gain weight is just I would just have a lot of big meals all the time, and that's really what did it. So cutting off my sugar intake as well, that helped a whole lot because now whenever I would get when I would get coffee before, I'd load that thing with some sugar, man. I really would, but now you drink it black, it doesn't even bother me. Like a lot of people, like it's not as bad, but it's because you're what you're doing is a reset, and because you've reset the fact that you reset your body to not rely and need sugar as much, you can actually appreciate things for the taste that they have and what they are without all the extra additives. So like coffee, or you can have like something sweet, once in a while. That's no one's taking that away. You got it, but you have to do everything in moderation. Definitely prioritize your health before you jump into like today, for example, right? So I went, I had some wings and some fries today. Cool. Before I really started taking myself a lot more seriously, wings and fries was almost like an every other day meal. Could have been. If not every other day, it would be at least like maybe twice a week or so.
You see, meat, fries and wings with pizza. Meat
Yeah.
pizza, bro. I could. People would get tired of pizza after a while. I'm like, give me that pizza. Give me that pizza. I can make 100 types of different pizzas and have imagination for pizzas. I never get. And next thing you know, I have a bubble butt. So
See, yeah, and it's funny you say that. There was a pizza I made back at Frostburg. So we had a running joke about Slim Jims, and it would just be, well, it's from the movie, The Fundamentals of Caring with Paul Rudd, and he's caretaking for this. He's this young man's caretaker, and the kid never had a Slim Jim, so he pulls over to the side of the road. He goes gets a Slim Jim. He's like, "Hey, bite the Jim. Come on, bite the Jim." Get a little bite of the James. So that was a thing. We go around campus messing with each other, just saying that, right? So one day, one of my coworkers, she said she bought a bunch of Slim Jims, and she was like, "Can you make a Slim Jim pizza?" I said, "Oh my goodness, yes I can." And so I was running the pizza station at one point too. So I said, "Yeah, I'll do that." So I cut up some Slim Jims, threw some pepperonis on, some black garlic, some Montreal steak seasoning, a little bit of oregano, a couple splashes of butter. Threw that joint in the oven. Frenchie, let me tell you, that pizza was fire. Had some bacon on it. Frenchie, that pizza was so good. Oh my
you see, for
gosh.
me, that's too much meat. I'm not a meat eater per se, right? I
Interesting. Not a
like my
carnivore.
veggies. Yeah, I'm not a carnivore. I'm cheese. I am pasta. I'm veggies. A bit of white meat. Bit of
Mm-hmm.
red meat from time to time. But I'm not like you give me like a meat lovers pizza. I'll be like too much, too salty, too meaty, too
Mm-hmm.
greasy.
Mm.
My ultimate pizza is a very simple, very Italian, but freaking delicious paesano. You ever heard of it?
Mm-mm. I thought you were gonna say a margarita pizza.
Kind of, but not really. Slices of tomato, parmigiano, garlic,
Mm-hmm.
pesto,
Mm.
and confit onions.
Okay. Sounds pretty good too.
And you put all
Yeah.
that on the slices of tomato. So you just got like cheese,
Mm-hmm.
like 8 slices of tomato, and all that topping, you put it on the tomato. So it mixes with the juice of tomato.
Mm. Okay. 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 That sounds really good. Good Lord.
That's my
Yeah.
kind of pizza right there.
I ain't mad at you. See, I tell you, this is how I've dealt with my cravings, right? On Facebook, all those reels that you see, I follow so many food pages. I'll just look at them, and it's enough for me. I don't like. I'll be like, okay. I'll be like, dang, that's a lot of cheese. My goodness, that's a lot of sugar. Like my girl, right? So what did she do the other day? Um, no. So last night we were at the gym and we left, and she had a protein bar, and she was just saying like, this tastes very interesting and Play-Doh-y. The guy at the front, he said, yeah, that's usually how most protein bars are. They kind of have like this weird texture to it. Like they're very
Yeah,
thick. Yeah,
it doesn't seem natural.
yeah. It's a weird texture to protein bars in general and how they. And she said it's good. It's just I feel like it's missing something. I said to her, I said, you know what it is? She said what? I said it's that sugar you like because you like that. She loves her some sugar, and I get it because like I was there. But I was telling her, I'm like, once you learn to not need it so much, your taste buds will adjust, and you'll be fine. Like trust me, you will be fine. Especially if you're making like dishes that if let's say your dish requires butter, you can use butter in your dish, but to use the whole tub of butter, it's a bit of a problem. Some people do have a tendency to do that, and then and the older you get, the more you do it, the harder it is to work it all off.
Yeah.
So it's better off, just try to, that's not that it's impossible for you to work it off because you can. A lot of people have been like 400 pounds have dropped to like 180 or however much. Like it's crazy. You can do it. It's all about your mindset too. That's the other thing that I had to, really tell myself in this process and getting myself together. It's that the best way to keep pushing yourself is to realize that you know what your goal is. But there's a journey, so don't be so caught up in the end goal that you don't take the journey for what it is, because you have to appreciate that to get to the destination that you want to get to. You may if you start to plateau, that's when it really starts to like you wonder, it's challenging you. And so you have to get over that hump. You have to get over that plateau by continuously pushing yourself to keep going. Because if you stop there and you regress, you'll lose all your progress. And it's like, well, you want to start again, then you have to start from the ground up. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you got to build your empire from the bottom all the way to the top. You just keep going. Don't stop it.
And I have a question for you. What is the one thing, if you would have known at the beginning when it comes to workout gym wise, you would have loved to know from the beginning, but now you know?
Um, that is a very good question. I think you know what? It's probably common sense, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it like this: exercise is actually only 30%. The other 70% is your diet. You can work out all day long, but if you're eating horribly, you're not going to do anything good for yourself at all. I had a friend of mine actually at school. He said that uh it's probably our sophomore year, like our first year in Frostburg. He was kind of chubby. You can still see like he has some solidness to him, but he had a little chub to him. So then by the next year, he had gotten really solid. So I asked him, I said, man, he had lost some weight. So I asked him, I said, what'd you do? He said, I just ran. But I had cheesesteaks all summer. Like I just ate cheesesteaks all the time, but I just kept running consistently. And so to me, it's like, well, shoot, I mean, if you can do that, then all right. But you also have to remember everybody's body type is different. Everybody's metabolism is different. Everybody's muscle memory is different. And also that is something that is not sustainable over a period of time. If you carry that on into your adult life, it's not going to work. Everything it's just going to stick and stick and stick. The other thing is that people they crap on carbs so much, but you have to moderate your carb intake or replace the carbs that you're eating, like the really starchy ones, because vegetables are carbs, but those are good, healthy carbs that you can have that you can fill up on. They're filled with fiber, especially your greens, fiber, iron, all those good nutrients that you need. Instead of you can have potatoes here and there, but don't make that your primary carb. Get some spinach on there, some kale, squash and zucchini is really good. Just make sure that you really emphasize your vegetables to the point where like just slightly over your protein, because you can have your protein intake throughout the day too, but have a little small, like a piece of chicken here, maybe a small steak. Eggs are really good. You just boil some eggs and just pop that in. You're good. It's like there's so many things that you can do, and I think that also another issue right now as to what's causing people to not because there's a lot of health nuts out there, a lot of health addicts out there. But if you want everybody to be healthy, the issue to me also lies in grocery stores. Where right now we're experiencing a lot of inflation, which is diving into people's pockets, which makes them buy cheaper products, products that are riddled with preservatives and additives and all these extra sugars and chemicals and compounds that you know nothing about, and it just adds to your gain. Like think about this, right? Fast food is getting more expensive, but it's still cheaper than what you would get at a grocery. Like check this out. I was reading an article yesterday about the different fast food spots that don't use 100% real chicken. It's a good bit of them. Obviously, McDonald's is on there, and so they replace all those other things to kind of fill in those gaps with different other proteins like soy proteins and other strange compounds that you really know nothing about, all these other chemicals. They just throw it all in there to kind of add to that chicken flavor or chicken taste, but it's not 100% real. You know what a real chicken tastes like.
Yeah.
When you compare it to, like, you know.
But here's the thing, like going to that, I'm starting to understand that more we're growing in each generation, more they won't know what real chicken will taste like. For them, what we're tasting as, oh, what the fuck is this chicken, is going to be their chicken. There'll be a point that to have real chicken is going to be a lux with inflation, right? So most people will never know what real chicken actually tastes like. And that same thing for vegetables. Like vegetables evolve over time. That was natural, right? But with the food industry these days, it's all engineered somehow. The local farmers market chicken is not going to be an easy access to the population. So that's a weird thing to think about. But chicken won't be the same for my daughter's daughter than for me, you know?
Yeah, it's weird, man, because like they load these chickens up with, depending on where you go, when you see like really massive chickens, they're either been loaded up with steroids or their feeding was very different. From what I understand, chickens aren't made to consume corn. You know, they just can't digest it properly, so that adds to their weight gain, which makes them bigger, as opposed to if you're doing like free range chickens and letting them, I mean, giving them chicken feed, things that chickens naturally eat. Feed them that as opposed to just stuffing them with so much corn and they can't, like, there's just nowhere for it to go. Then you keep them in these cages, they just keep on growing and it does nothing for them. So what you're really getting is just cruelty and cheap
Cruelty is what
labor.
you're getting, yeah.
Yeah. So that's no fun. I don't even know how we got there.
Now we
But
like this thing. I have another question for you.
what's up?
When you go into the gym, is there a machine that you see that people keep using it wrong, and how do you use it?
Yeah. So cable machines are one of them, specifically when you're doing lat pull downs. So when you're doing your lat pull downs, your latissimus dorsi, some of your lower back muscles, and when you're on it, you want to have a wide grip, and you also want to put a slight curve in your back, and that way when you pull down, you want it to come. You want the bar to come down towards your chest, not all the way down, but at least to about here where your chest is. But you got to keep your back arched and bent. Some people, they just reach up, but they don't put any curve in, and they just pull down. I think that's the way to really effectively target your lats, but it's not. You have to add that extra curve in and pull that bar down to your chest. That way, when you can feel that squeeze and tighten as you come down, let go when you release, tighten as you come down, let go, release, tighten. That's another one. That's one of them. I'd say another machine. It's not even a machine that I think people use wrong. It's a machine that I don't really think should be there because our spines aren't meant to twist in that position. It's like this torso machine.
Yeah.
Like your spine isn't made to rotate all the way around like that. There's no real stability that happens when you're on that machine. You're just on your knees and you're kind of twisting. It's not really doing anything for you. But if you want to do something where you feel like you have to twist and more so target your obliques, you can do wood choppers. But wood choppers work really well if you have a dumbbell or if you're on the cable machine. And there's like 3 variations to it. You can either swing from up and then come across, or you can go straight across and twist this way, or you can come from the bottom, go up. So it's almost like you're golfing. You're just like this way, you kind of just pulling, and then the other way, you're just kind of bringing down the sword, or you're chopping wood, essentially. There's those 3 variations that I like to do. I just did it the other day, and I tell you, it felt really great. And you don't need heavy weights for it because your obliques are very thin muscles. So you don't want to thicken them up. You want to define them. So go with a lighter weight, do a high rep count. But you don't want to thicken them, because then that way, somebody said, like, for bodybuilders, the first thing that people notice if they're going on stage and they're flexing and performing and all is the first thing that they may notice is their obliques. And they can tell if your obliques are really thick because you've been lifting heavy with them. So you don't want to, if you want to be a bodybuilder, you don't want to per se do that because they're already thin muscles. There are other muscles that you can target that are bigger and thicker that require more heavy weights to work with to challenge yourself.
And it will depend on the body too, because like for me, I realize like my stomach and my forearm, my biceps is not my strength. My strength is my trapeze, like all here and this here. Like this, I have a harder time. But this and this doesn't take much. I pump up, like this. But the rest of my body, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. See, and another thing, like what you asked me earlier about what are the things that you wish you knew? Well, your forearms are very key as well. There are exercises that you can do for your forearms. Your brachialis is in there.
Yeah.
And you just simply wrist curls.
Yeah. The wrist curls and angled wrist curls too. Back wrist curls. Wrist goes like this and then bring it down and then like this and bring it back up. Like the way I work those, it was intense. I rotated all my muscles, but the only ones that really worked was this and this when I did all the types of exercises. The rest were slower to build, but this I would just have to pump up a bit, and when you can see the separation, you can see like the bone getting higher because the muscles getting more defined. And that was in kind of a couple months, right? And then I let it go,
Hey, but you know what, French, your body will thank you when you return.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
All right. Well, that being said, I say we end this here. Thank you very much, man.
Oh, no problem. Let me just add like a few more things here. Make sure to train different different muscle groups at least twice a week. And get, like you said, with that rotational period, you can do arms and shoulders one day, focus on your triceps, your biceps, your deltoids. Then another day you can do legs, calves, quads, hamstrings. Another day you can do chest and back. That's how I've started breaking my days up. Before I would just kind of go in and I would just do what I felt, which is fine. Like I would do a full total body workout, but I like the structure of being able to focus on certain groups on certain days now. That way I can kind of see where I'm at on particular days,
Actually, before going, I also want you to talk about your experience on the importance of stretching after.
Yes. Stretching is a very key thing. Stretching actually not stretching got me in trouble in high school. Yeah. It's my first year playing high school ball, and I had pulled my groin. And we would stretch every day, but I wasn't stretching. I don't think I was stretching as well as I should have been. Because I got heavy legs, so I know that with the fact of my legs being heavy, I have to stretch a bit more. And so when I carry that into college, whenever playing football, I mean, I'm always stretching before we even start. I'm warming up to stretch. People say, well, "Why are you stretching, man?" I'm not pulling anything out here. no way. I want to be able to play next week. So like I gotta stay stretched out. But especially after working out, it's really better for you after you work out too. Because you don't want your muscles to get tight. You're actually helping elongate your muscles even more, just stretching them out just a bit, giving that last bit of effort, but kind of loosening them up so they don't get tight. And then once you're taking your protein or your creatine, whatever replacement you use to help replenish your muscles, that'll also make it easier. Another thing, and I'm gonna tell you this, I haven't made like a full-on discovery. I'm gonna keep going with this, but I actually took some CBD. I was looking up something the other day about the effects of CBD in the gym. And there's not really much studies out there about it. Everything's more like towards anti-cancer, pain relief, um, things of that nature, right? So yesterday I had some. It was like a raspberry cheesecake sativa. So, I smoked a little bit before I went in, and honestly, it's not supposed to, give you a psychoactive high at all. Just relaxes your body, keeps your muscles pretty much good. So I go in, man, and I genuinely felt very energized. I already had my pre-workout, but like I said, I just wanted to try this out. And today, I didn't really feel any muscle soreness. And I went pretty hard yesterday. I mean, I'm doing these hex presses, man, and it was just tearing. My chest was burning. I'm just like, I'm trying to get through these last all the way to failure. And today, it's like, I feel great. I feel fine. So that is something I'm gonna try to continue to study myself. I gotta find some ways to to keep track of it. But just from that first day, it felt pretty great. I didn't feel I didn't feel all focused. Didn't feel tight at all. No pain. I genuinely feel good. So that's something that I would try to like definitely do a bit of a study on, see where I can go, and then maybe another episode we can see the results of that.
Yes, sir. All right. Again, thank you very much for waking up from your nap to talk to me.
Thank you, Frenchie. No problem, man. It's always good talking with you, man. Seriously.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, till next time. Bye-bye.
All right. We are out, ladies and gents. And remember, 1,000 subs. Join us anytime.